What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's video, we're going to go over the fact that I see the writing on the wall when it comes to eBay. So please smash the like button and consider subscribing. I can see where this ship is headed, and depending on where you are in your eBay journey, it could be really bleak or it could be really good. So let's get into why I think that is. So there are a few expenses associated with eBay, and I'm going to go over what I think the solution is to it. Number one is going to be shipping costs. So as you guys have noticed, twice a year the shipping costs go up. But for me, my average shipping cost has actually gone down, and I'll explain why. It's mainly because I'm selling all in the same category. So my category on eBay is clothing, shoes, and accessories. Because my store has so many of the same types of things, I'm getting multiple orders, which is causing my average shipping cost to go down. So even though my buy 2 items or more ship for $10 promotion, so for me on my store, if you buy 2 or more items, it ships for a flat rate of $10. And my idea is I'm encouraging people to buy 2 or more items at full price. If I send an offer to Watcher, or they send an offer that I accept on those orders, it's an extra $1.99, so $1.99 for each additional item. So if somebody accepts 3 offers, my charge is $7.99 for economy shipping. So if they purchase 3 items with offers, it goes up to $7.99 to $9.98 to $11.97. So each additional item is $2 more essentially. So that for me has greatly reduced my overall shipping costs by about $1. I'm getting enough combined orders that's reduced it by $1, and that will offset the increase of $1 every single year in the post office. So I'm hoping that eventually my store is big enough that I can average like an order size of 2, and that way I can offset the main thing that's really, really expensive in your store, which is probably shipping. For me, shipping is the largest expense. For me, in the everyday category, everyday value category, sometimes shipping is as much as the item costs. So depending on what category you're in, lowering the shipping costs is important, because in the future, shipping costs are going to get more and more expensive. Number 2, cost of goods sold. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but everything is more expensive. Gas, groceries, real estate is ridiculous. Everything is moving up, so cost of goods is getting more expensive. But for me, cost of goods is actually decreased. I'm buying more and more and more items. As you've been doing this for a while, your bankroll increases. Here's a really interesting secret for you guys that's come to me. Most of the money I made in this year, so this year I'm on track to do $1.3 million on eBay. Last year I did $700,000 in sales on eBay, so I'm up $600,000 this year because I've been following my colleague Tech and Sports' method, which is essentially don't spend any money and reinvest all your money into your eBay business. So this year all I've been doing is focusing on how can I list more items in less time. So meaning I want more time and I want more money. Those are the 2 resources that people are looking for. So I've been laser focused on that, and that's how I've been able to increase from $700,000 to $1.3 million this year. But I will tell you, the majority of that increase was because of a few really good buys. So I'm at the point now where I can actually take advantage of a $25,000 deal or a $50,000 deal that comes in, and it makes the cost of goods a lot lower. So this year, most of my money has come from probably 10 deals that I got that were larger orders because I could afford to do that. And I think that's going to continue in the future. In the future, as big box stores fail or other resellers give up, I'm going to have the opportunity to buy thousands or tens of thousands of items to put into my store, which should bring my cost of goods down. Also, I want to point out that because I've been buying such a large volume of items, this year I've sold thousands of items with an average sale price of over $100. Now, for me, it costs to make an Instagram post or to talk about a haul video costs about 2 hours of time. So it makes more sense for me to just list more items and to talk about super home run items. Also, talking about super home run items makes it so when I find that item in the future, it's going to be more flooded, right? That's why I always use basic examples in my store, because 98% of my store is everyday value, but not 98% of the profit is from those items. Believe it or not, like that 2% is probably 20% of the profit, because you'll run into ridiculous home runs if you do enough volume. So cost of goods sold is actually decreases as you increase it. So you guys want to pick an industry where things get cheaper to buy the bigger you get. You don't want to pick industries where it's always the same price or even gets more expensive to acquire really high items. An example of that would be like hype shoes. So if you're looking to get you're trying to get an online drop of one pair of sneakers and you get it. That's great. But if you want to get 2 or 3 or 10 or 12 pairs, you're going to need to invest in some bots. You might need to invest in other people helping you. So your price per piece per shoe goes up as your volume increases, and that makes it more difficult because that cuts into your margin. You want to pick something ideally that the more you buy of it, it actually goes down. Toyota, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Kaizen and Toyota manufacturing. When you supply Toyota, they expect the price of your goods to actually decrease over time. So this year we'll pay you guys $1 for cost of goods sold, but next year we only want to pay 90 cents. So what we'll do is we'll guarantee a larger order. So that's how Toyota negotiates cheaper cost of goods over time, and that's huge. Next, depending on where you live, the cost of staff or the cost of contractors is going up. Where I live, minimum wage is $14.14. Let me know in the comment section below what minimum wage is for you. Here at fast food places, you're really paying $20 an hour to get a basic line cook, to get a basic cashier. It's going to be $20 an hour plus the cost of benefits, which I think is around 10%. So for me, I'm looking for people in the $20 to $22 range because I have to compete with other service type jobs. So the cost of staff is going to increase over time. The only way to offset that is to make your process clean enough, to make it simple enough that you can get more out of your workers per hour. So in the beginning, because I didn't know what I was doing, I hired per piece. So $1 per piece for this, or $75 cents per piece on that. But I've now switched to hourly, and I try to get more input more output with the same hour of a wage. So for $20 to $22 an hour, hopefully in the future, my people get better and better and better, and I get more productivity out of that hour, so I can actually increase their wage. And that's how you would get paid more. So here, my original worker started at $15 an hour, and now she's making close to $25 an hour because her productivity is so much higher than before. And for me in my store, the average listings per hour is 13. So that would mean getting the item, photographing it, and then listing the item. I'm expecting 13 per hour. That's where I'm at as far as my staff. But in the future, as I make a few different improvements, I'm hoping to increase that closer to 15 an hour. After that, it gets really difficult because I sell in the used category. So it's very difficult to streamline it faster, in my opinion, than 15 per hour photos and listings, because there's just a lot of things to double check. A lot of staging needs to get done. And there's a ton of item specifics in my category of clothing. There's probably 20 to 25 different things you need to check on the listing before you hit launch. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to make sure is perfect before you launch it. Otherwise, you're risking a defect. And the thing I'm most proud of in my store is my low defect rate. So I do have defects, of course, and I have more defects than most people because of the volume. But in the last 9,000 transactions, I've had around 40 to 60 defects, which for me is really good. So I'm happy to slowly decrease the defects. I don't know if I'll ever get to 0 defects, but I'm working on decreasing that over time. So the cost of staff, really important. Next is the cost of rent. Rent for me in my storage unit, I work in a commercial storage unit, so it does have power. They've increased my rent 3 times since I got here in 2020. So in the last year, I've had 3 rent increases, right? So nothing really that I can do about that, but what I can do is actually get a little bit more efficient with my space. So you guys see this shelf system, I used to hold around 500 or 600 items per shelf, but my new shelf system holds over 1,000. So if I just use the 48 that come with it, it is about 1,000 items. But since I sell some new in box items, I'm throwing those on top, which increases the capacity of the space a little bit higher to around 1,050 or 1,100 items per shelf, because I get one more row on top. So becoming more efficient means my cost of rent per item goes down. So I'm trying everything that I can do to avoid the writing on the wall, which is that eBay sellers are being priced out of the market. So my mentality is I gotta make sure this is big enough so I can start capitalizing on economies of scale, because without those economies of scale, it doesn't really work. Final fee, eBay fees, this shouldn't be something that people worry about. A lot of people do, but the insertion fee shouldn't be cost prohibitive. It's either between 5 cents and 25 cents per listing. That shouldn't prevent you from listing more. I see a lot of people saying, I'm waiting for my free listings from eBay. Why are you waiting for free listings when 100 listings only cost you $10? 100 listings might make you 1,000. You're waiting on a $10 fee for $1,000 in profit. That's a backwards way of looking at it. Your eBay fees, the insertion part, shouldn't hold you back from listing a lot more, and the final value fees you actually don't get hit with until after you've sold the item. So don't worry about that either. The shipping costs and the eBay fees, you don't pay until after you have the cash. On eBay, you can use your available balance to pay for the shipping label, but I recommend you hook it up to your PayPal to a credit card in credit card points. So for me personally, my credit card points are more than $40,000 a year. So if I was single with no kids, I could live 100% on my credit card rewards, which is kind of a funny goal, but in theory, I could live tax-free by just living on my cashback rewards, which are not taxable by my credit card company. They don't actually issue anything to the IRS for credit card rewards because they consider that a discount and not revenue. So that is interesting, and it is a bit of a gray area. I think in the future, the IRS will find a way to tax that. But all these little things that you can do to save $1 here, save a nickel here, that's really gonna help you get to the next level. And I mean, the writing on the wall says that most small sellers who do not get more efficient over time, they're going out of business. Even with other resellers that I've watched on YouTube, because their stores have remained the same size, every single year, the amount of money they make is less. So you'll see them moving more towards digital goods. And I want to point out to you guys, I also do that, right? I look for digital goods. I like to play all the different games. Like I'm putting a percentage of my money into cryptocurrency. I'm learning about NFTs. And because reselling is very much a solo job, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to invest my time into learning more and more things. And I just want to give one more final plug to my reseller mentorship group. It's the Reseller Nirvana podcast group. You can join it in the link below. It's $35 a month, and I recommend you join for 2 reasons. One, it's going to help you make more money, and number 2, it's going to help you save more time. And that's the whole point of daily refinement, is to produce more with less time. So we're not making improvements that don't matter. You're making improvements that help you list more items, and then you have to actually list more items. So if you get a new photo setup that's cleaner and allows you to take less steps and everything is within reach, that's great. But if you don't actually list more items, then it was a waste of time. So there are mentorship groups where you join where if you don't improve, they kick you out. We're not going to do that, but maybe we will in the future, because what Tech and I want for everybody is for you to make measurable progress. So in our group, we have almost 2,000 people now. Everyone should be growing the number of listings they have every single week, and we're about to be a force to be reckoned with. Because imagine 2,000 people with a 100 a week listing goal or more, which is what I recommend. That's 20,000 listings a week. We're making up a huge bulk of the people on eBay who know what they're doing, and you have such an advantage over people who are just starting on eBay. If you're listening to this and you've been reselling for a while, there's more and more regulations, more and more laws, more and more things that you can't list, more and more rules, more and more expenses. So if you're in this for a while, if you stay ahead of the curve, you start getting these economies of scale, you start lowering the cost of your goods, you start lowering the cost of people who help you, lowering your cost of rent, lowering your eBay fees because of combined orders, and that's how you reduce shipping as well. The eBay fee, they hit you with 30 cents every time you make a transaction. That's why it's so awesome to sell 3, 4, 5 items in the same order, because you still pay only one 30-cent fee. So that's huge, and all of this is about maximizing your revenue and reducing your expenses. So I appreciate you guys. Join our Facebook group, smash the like button, consider subscribing. Take care.